Guys, at this point, are you even surprised? Another red day for SoFi, another terrible day for the entire stock market. I mean, look at this. We had oil. Oops, you can't even see it. Hold on a second. We had the price of oil go to, let's see, 96 a barrel. Every index here in the U.S. market, the Russell down 2.1%, Dow down 1.5%. The Q's over that, 1.75% down, as the S&P went down 1.5%. And the VIX is now nearing 30 points, as again, oil is pushing 100 a barrel. And at this point, guys, SoFi is falling through a roof, or not a roof, geez. I can't even get my sayings right. It's falling off a cliff. And we have a lot of stocks, companies that just reported earnings that are also falling off a cliff. Adobe being one of them. Their CEO stepped down. Ulta is falling off a cliff. Couple other ones. So we have a lot to talk about in this video, guys, and we have little time to waste. So hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join the Patreon if you want to work more one-on-one, see my portfolio updates, be a part of my private Discord. All that's linked down below. And now, cheers for me and my empty cup of coffee. You guys saw me, drink it at the beginning of the video. And let's get into it, man. So we are on the verge of collapse here on SoFi stock. Not complete and utter collapse. I'm not saying, it's going to go to $10 or anything crazy, but we went down another 4.5% today, and we are literally at the moment of truth spot on these charts. Here at about 1750, 1775. If we break through here, guys, boom, we're going to go right down to 1650 in my opinion. And I held off on selling those cash secured puts yesterday and today for that matter. But considering tomorrow, if we get another big down move here, those might look extremely juicy, and I might be able to write, cash secured puts at a much lower strike than originally planned, right? And with the premiums spiking, now might be the time, right? And if we get this gap down tomorrow under 1770 again, we might be looking at even nicer premiums on that $14, $15 strike, which yesterday we were talking about the $15 and $16 strike. But now that the stock went down another dollar from yesterday, 4.5%, we can move that down a little bit. And maybe we'll actually dive into the options chain tomorrow in the next video. But yeah, guys, I think more downsides coming, which is what I've been saying for the most part, right? It's pretty obvious on these charts. You can see here we're holding on by a thread above 1750. We tried holding 18 and 19 bucks for a couple of days, so we were talking about as well how SoFi was trying to consolidate, but then it started to slip this morning, and it fell through the floor, $18 today, and it got down to $17.70, and now we're testing the next main support, which again is right here. And if this breaks, I think we're going down to $16.50, and at that point, guys, that's another big test. Do we take $16.50 out? Which, like I've said before, I don't see it going much lower than $15. Maybe $14, which again, that's why I'm choosing those strikes for the cash secured puts that I'm going to sell most likely tomorrow or Monday. I don't see it going much lower than that, but I guess it could. I mean, it could in this market with everything going on in the Middle East. It might drag on longer than we think, Looks like that kind of might happen at this point, and the market's realizing that. It's a wake-up call. Not really a wake-up call, but it's like, we're realizing, it might be longer than expected. We all kind of, we realize that it might be longer than expected. Now the market's like, okay, yeah, we're realizing it. We're realizing that now. So SoFi might get down to $14, maybe, 15, but I'm holding off a little bit, waiting to see if we take out in the meantime 1770, because I think we're going to go down to 1650. So let me show you now some of these companies that just reported earnings, and oh boy, is it rough. Adobe, which it's been rough for months, quarters, years for Adobe at this point, and now the CEO pretty much said, hasta la vista, my friends. I'm out of here. So we got the CEO. I'm pretty sure, I forget his name. What the heck's this guy's name? Either way, it looks like he's stepped down to transition out of CEO position after successors appointed. He's going to remain chair of Adobe board. But yeah, the stock's down, not just on that news, but obviously on their earnings. The stock's down $20 a share, which equates to about 8% in the aftermarket. So Adobe reported earnings per share of, let's see, $6, quite the difference, $6.06 adjusted, by the way, versus $5.87 expected on sales of $6.39 billion versus $6.27 billion. So double beat out of Adobe. Looks like here they expect Q2 adjusted EPS of $5.80 to $5.85 versus $5.68 expected. That's for Q2, and they see sales for Q2 of $6.43 to $6.48 billion versus $6.42 billion. So double beat for guidance as well, guys. So the thing is here, their guidance is pretty decent, pretty good, strong actually, solid, right? But the market just doesn't buy that they're going to make it through the AI storm, if you will. They don't think Adobe is going to make it through the other side, or they don't really or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's more they don't know what Adobe is going to look like on the other side. Will they make it? They might make it, and if they do, how is Adobe going to operate in this, fully entrenched AI integrated world? And I've given my opinion on Adobe many times. I think it's still going to be a useful company with useful products, right? Their product suite's amazing. I've used it for a decade now, but I'm more of a, I would say, even though I've used it for a decade, I'm one of those guys that's more casual. I use Photoshop here and there to make little edits, tweak thumbnails, do that. And I'm now using AI more than ever. All these thumbnails you're seeing, guys, I essentially make a kind of, I like to call it a skeleton thumbnail. In other words, the thumbnails you see for my videos, I make a bunch or a couple templates. That's a better way to say it. A couple templates on Photoshop. It's my face, on one side, got a chart here, I have the red background or whatever, the green background for some. I have a couple templates, basic ones that I make on Photoshop, let's say 5 or 10, and then I go to x.com or I go to Google Gemini, whatever it is, right? And I tell it to make me thumbnails, a bunch of different versions. And guys, it spits out these thumbnails in 5 seconds, like this, like this, like this. It's so freaking easy. And people like me that are more, I'm not a novice. I know how to use Photoshop to a certain extent, but that don't necessarily want to put the time in. I'm also inherently a little lazy when it comes to editing, Photoshop. That's not my stuff, guys. Look, I love making videos. I love stocks, making money, business, trading, all that, investing. I love that stuff. But I'm not a big, artsy, craftsy, edit, make it all beautiful and this and that, the best thumbnails. Obviously, that's not me. You guys know that. I never edit my videos. That's not me. I just like talking about stocks, money, finance, personal finance, and I've done that for years now. And people that are like that, they're going to use AI more, and they're going to ditch Adobe. They're going to ditch these products. It's inevitable. And that's kind of, I've said this time and time again, I don't want to harp on it, but they reported pretty good numbers, strong guidance, but the market just doesn't buy it. That's just what it is, guys. And the reality is, I don't know when Adobe, if it's going to come back. I doubt it goes back to $600, $700, $800 a share anytime soon. 700 is the all-time high. So for it to go from 270 back to 700, it needs to go up a lot. I just don't see it. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, if they get through this, or not 10 years, geez, next couple of years, if they get through it on the other side and they're a much better company, who knows? But I just don't see it. I think people, again, they're going to be using all these AI tools, even for video editing, forget about Photoshop. Look at all these videos, all these editors, right? AI is going to be making videos like crazy, and it's already happening, but in 1, 2, 3 years, think about, all these YouTubers that have all these editors, right, that are editing these crazy videos. Sure, the high skilled people, they're going to be good. They're going to still use Photoshop, but people that need to make a basic video or even like a good video with clips they have, they can just do that with AI in a couple of years. That's pretty much a guarantee, man. So this is all going to hurt Adobe. People aren't buying it, and that's the reality. And I'm staying away. I've said that for months, and I'm still sticking to that. Same with Duolingo, a lot of these ones. And people are like, oh, Stas, Duolingo's a great company. Oh, my God. It's so great. No, it's not. Duolingo is in trouble. I've said that since $300-400. The only thing I regret is not shorting it. I should have shorted it. But hey, it's whatever. I had the thesis. The thesis was right at $300-400, but I didn't put money behind it. I should have. But yeah, let's talk about the next one here. What's the next one? Ulta. And by the way, guys, hit the like button on this video if you're finding value. Make sure to subscribe. I appreciate you all as always. So, look, Ulta's technical setup into the print was pretty clear. It was a head and shoulders, right? And now that's played out with earnings. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, it could have gone the other way. But Ulta is tanking. It's down about, let's see, percentage-wise, right now it is down about 8%. At the worst, it was down about 11%, 12%. So Ulta reported earnings per share of $8 and a penny versus $7.97 expected on sales of $3.89 billion versus $3.8 billion. So double beat out of Ulta, and they see full year GAAP EPS of $28.05 to $28.55 versus $28.38. Not bad. That's the expectation. Let's see. They see sales of $13.13 to $13.26 versus $13.06 billion. So pretty good guidance, strong sales, good EPS, good revenue, but it looks like here, I mean, why is it tanking? I mean, probably the environment we're in, oil prices going up, I'm sure, is hurting Ulta here a little bit, transporting their product around, that could be an issue here in the short term. That's hurting Amazon as well, other companies of the sorts. And look, the chart still looks great. It really does. It's a falling knife here, and I'm not chasing it, by the way. I'm going to give it a couple days, let the dust settle, but the chart does look pretty good, and it's been doing well for years. I mean, this stock's a great stock. I used to own it a couple years ago. Geez, it might have been more than just a couple, but I've owned it on and off a couple times now that I think about it, and I've traded it many times over the years, but I used to own it, I think, in the $300-400 most recently, and clearly I should have held on. It's now at what, $600-700, or was at $700. Now it's at $580 as of the aftermarket. So honestly, guys, this one might be worth watching if it's stable. Well, it is worth watching. It might be worth trading. Do your own research, though. But if we stabilize here a little bit, Ulta doesn't look that bad as we're getting, closer to potentially getting out of this conflict in the Middle East. I don't think it's going to come, super soon here. Like I said before, I think it's going to drag on maybe a couple more weeks. But as we get out of that Middle East conflict, or it kind of soothes down a bit, I think Ulta could be an interesting play. And let's take a look at one more while we're at it. Service Titan, TTAN's the ticker. This has been downtrending for months, and now it's down again in the aftermarket. Adjusted EPS came in at 27 cents versus 18 cents expected on sales of $253 million versus $245 million expected. So double beat for Service Titan. Looks like they see sales. They expect Q1 sales of $255 to $257 versus $252 million. Not too bad there on the guidance. So TTAN, look, man, it's been downtrending. Now it's falling again, falling knife. I'm not looking to buy into this at this point. The long-term charts don't look good to my knowledge. Yeah, they do not look good. So I'm just keeping it on the watch list. Earnings were okay, but nothing really worth writing home about right now about this company, at least in my opinion, based on those numbers, the price action. It is what it is, guys. That's the kind of market we're in. But there is opportunity in certain names. If you have conviction in your stocks, not any in particular here, but if you have a stock that is down, it's down 10, 20%, whatever it's down, maybe more, maybe less, and you have conviction long term, now's not it's not a bad time to nibble a little bit, in my opinion. As the VIX gets up near 30, as we're getting near $100 a barrel on oil again, on crude oil, it's not a bad time to buy stocks, historically speaking, the higher the VIX is. As the VIX gets, especially near 40, I forget the exact stat, anywhere between 30, 40, higher than 40, great time to buy stocks historically, because, that's when there's so much panic, so much fear, so much uncertainty. Stocks are down, that's the time to buy. So keep your eyes on that, man. I know for sure. I have some cash in my different accounts, and look, man, I've been sitting on some cash the last week, 2 weeks here in the accounts. If we get that $30 to $40 point VIX, maybe higher this upcoming week, God knows what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm going to get some money working. So more than what I have already, as as we all are, mostly invested in these markets. I have cash ready to go for some more, guys. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. We're rambling a little bit now. It's probably the coffee. Cheers. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Join the Patreon, by the way, if you want to keep up with my portfolio updates, my private Discord, all of that's down below, linked in the comments as well, or go to StockSurfS.com/Patreon. And with that being said, cheers again. I'll see you guys later.